Welcome to Choose Life Weekly. This is a dear friend, Olivia Lee, and Olivia and I have known each other for almost 20 years, and
Oh, wow.
I know, right? Yeah. So, and we first met, and I would say when we first met, I didn't realize that some people you meet for seasons and for just specific reasons, and I thought that maybe that was Olivia's role in my story then, but now I can just see that she is a lifelong friend, and especially because we are on the same path of just living in fullness and abundance and the Zoe life. And so I've learned so much from her and the breakthroughs that she has made in her story. And absolutely, she's accelerated so many things, even for me. So it is a joy and an honor to welcome her today, and you get to hear from her and her words. So, Olivia, share a little bit about yourself, please.
Thank you. It's good to see your face. I miss your face and I miss your voice.
Love you.
And your prayers. She prayed over us before this. And just, yeah, if you know Kristen, you know her prayers are like, I don't know, they're just like heaven. They're just like heavenly honey dripping. It's wonderful. I love it. You're so peaceful and so calming and but it's just so faith filled and bold at the same time. And I love it. But yes, thank you for asking me to do this, first of all. And then secondly, a little bit about myself. I am I shouldn't say that. I am a mom of two kids that are biologically mine, and then three beautiful bonus daughters that come along with the package of my husband. And what a great package it is. And we have two kids in the house right now, our two youngest. And so all the other ones are off married or at college or moved out of the house and, doing their own career things. So, yeah, I just recently started really focusing on, okay, kind of that stage of being a mommy and being, because we're always involved no matter how old our kids are. I talk to my mom on a daily basis, and I'm 44 and she's 64. So we're always mommies. And but just that new stage of life where my youngest is a senior and my husband's youngest is a junior. So you're not having to do all those daily things. And so it was just kind of like, okay, Lord, what is it that you'd have for me in this next season? And just really over the past 2 years, really started feeling a pull in that health and wellness direction. Honestly, I've felt that pull really for probably since I was 20 years old.
I was going to say, I have noticed that in you way longer than the last, maybe 2 years aggressive. I don't know.
I was just going through all the things. Yeah, going through all the things that I've gone through, autoimmune, being diagnosed with 3 different autoimmune diseases over the past 5 years. Like about 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with 3 1 year. So that was kind of crazy. And just different health journeys that I've been through have just drawn me towards that. And I've seen those big results just in concentrating on not just what I'm eating and not just health. And because sometimes we think that's what health means is just, what are you eating? What are you not eating? What supplements are you taking? But it's body, mind, and spirit. And I had to learn that in such a big way. And it's just really been such a big thing for me and such a game changer for me that I just want to be able to help other people do that. So I've been starting to do wellness workshops, which have been amazing. And when you find that thing that it's like, wow, I just love doing this. And I'm just being myself and just telling you what I've learned and how can people really want to, it's just amazing because I get to do something that I absolutely love and people love learning it. And it's just been a win-win situation. So that's what I'm doing now.
And so what would you, as far as, so much of the Choose Life umbrella is that your breakthrough, the things that you share, it really will accelerate those listening. They'll be like, okay, well, that's a Choose Life choice I can make. That's something I can lean into. And so what would you say if someone's like, you know what? Yeah, I want to pivot towards healthy. I'm whiteboarding in the year 2020, I'm going to pivot into becoming more healthy and more alive, with this spirit, soul, body mindset, where it's not just eating or not eating bad foods and eating good foods, whatever that means to them. And so, what would you say, like, and how did that start moving forward, or those baby steps that they can take?
Yeah. So that's honestly one thing that really spurred me on when the first workshop that I did. I mean, I had to sit down and just kind of, I mean, the curriculum had to come from me, and so then all of a sudden I was like, okay, I've got mountains and journals and books full of knowledge, but you
Right.
can't do that to someone in 3 days, and that's overwhelming. And it was overwhelming me trying to figure out how to explain it all. So I was like, I need to give people some tools that they can walk away with.
Yeah.
Of, okay, here's a direction that I can go in, and that's the biggest thing, is just walking in those directions, and it snowballs, and it like builds on top of each other, and you learn more and more and more. But just some basic great things to start with that I like to do is nourishing and detoxing. And you can do that, and that is not just in your body, that is body, mind, and spirit. And those are things that, honestly, for me, with my health, I had to realize that I was eating all of the best things that I possibly could, but I was still sick. I didn't feel healthy. I didn't feel well. I was not flourishing. I was getting out of bed feeling just exhausted and worn out every single day. And so that's when I had to realize that, just even focusing on what I'm taking in, to my body, and what is it doing for me. And that is like your sleep, that you're getting sleep is so incredibly important. And just learning, like, how do you get a good night's sleep? Like, the hours that you're asleep are a big deal. If you're going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning and getting up at 10, you're getting 8 hours of sleep, but it's not good, productive, restorative sleep. So just learning all those things, putting the phone down at night, getting away from blue light. And that just helps with your family. It helps you to just refocus on your family, and to look people in the face and connect with them. And just doing things like that has just been really, really key for me, of just what are the good things that I can put in at night. I'm even specific on what kind of shows I'll watch. I always, conversations that we even have, I'm like, is that a good bedtime story? I mean, because it might be relevant, and there's some things that, life just happens, and you got to talk about a difficult subject at 10 o'clock at night, and you can't avoid it. And not to be rigid and crazy like that, but for the most part, we just really try to keep things light. We try to keep things healthy, and just what we're eating. What I try to eat early so my food digests. Just even being aware of, okay, the toxins that are in my home, the toxins that are in my mouth, speaking wise, and what I'm allowing to come out of my mouth, and what I'm putting in my mouth and in my mind. Just getting rid of that toxicity, and even just from toxicity, like in your mind and in your mouth and in your body, but then also, the perfumes that you put on your body, the lotions that you're rubbing all over your skin, is the biggest organ in your body, the largest organ in your body. And we will rub toxins all over it. The makeup we're wearing, the water we're drinking, just some simple things like that, of just looking at, okay, what are some toxic things that I can cut out? And what are some things that I can put into my life that are super nourishing? And that's kind of the basic place that I like to start.
And I would say I absolutely know that value, even in that, yes, on that soul level of really graceful, but just like, you know what? I'm just going to delete that stuff off. I'm no longer going to follow like these people where they were once, where they were nourishing to you, to your soul. You're like, there's been a different frequency, like maybe in 6 months. But I do love the authority that you take over your life. Really guard and steward your body well in that. And so, what was it that caused you to be just excellent and vigilant in that regard? I mean,
so many things.
I heard that and learned that from you.
I
probably first heard that and learned that from you.
Really?
Yeah, because it was really loving and graceful. It wasn't like a mom with a child, like you can't watch that. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It was very yeah, just, so much in my heart, like, that's just not a choose life choice,
Yeah.
and where that person is right now, they're not in this choose life place, and so we instead of filtering every time, we're gonna just quiet that. We're gonna just
Yeah. Well, we are the gatekeeper, we're the gatekeeper for that garden that's inside of us. That is our life. And we get to decide what comes in and what doesn't. And sometimes that's a really hard decision, because even on social media, it might be someone that I love and that is a great person, is wonderful, and there's nothing wrong with them. But every time I see their posts, my energy changes. I'll get jealous, or I'll get like insecure, or I just won't, I mean, just whatever it is. And I've had to realize, you know what? And that's what's so great about, you don't have to unfriend them. You can just mute them for a little bit and they don't even know, but it's just something that you're having to deal with. But you've got to take that responsibility of, man, if every time I'm looking at my news feed, and that's where, for me, I have to put in even, time limits for my apps. I've got an hour time limit for social media, and after that, I would like to say I'm done, but there's been way too many times that I hit that 15 more minute button. But I'm really trying to be better at that, especially these past 2 weeks, and especially this week of Thanksgiving. I'm just really trying to focus, on just some really good positive things, and keep my focus on the Lord. And I just realizing what it makes me feel like when I'm on social media too much. And then when you just get away from it for a while, you don't realize how great you feel.
yeah.
So sometimes we need it just the same way we need to detox from, certain foods. There's nothing wrong with having coffee. There's nothing wrong with having sweets every once in a while, but it's the amount that we're taking. And sometimes we've had too much, and we just do need to clear those airways, clear those pipes, and start fresh and just detox a little bit. So not being afraid to do, things like that.
And so, and just curious, I mean, I know that so much of this is your lifestyle, and you are very graceful, and absolutely, I've been in your home where you have a lot of people over, and it really is just all these choose life choices before, like everybody enjoys them and loves them. Has in any way, because you do carry just a place of leadership and in health and wellness, does it make other people feel uncomfortable, or is it always invitational?
I always worry about that. That's not always, but that's been a concern of mine, is that I'm like, I don't ever want to push anything that I'm doing on somebody else. But, when it is my home, then
Yeah.
it's my home.
Yeah.
And so I love I've always loved creating atmospheres. That is one of
Which
the
is
things
huge.
that
It's huge.
I love to do. I'm an atmosphere creator. I've done that for our church. I've done that for friends, for parties, for, all different kinds of things. But I just love, and usually I don't try to make it so obvious. And I guess maybe it's just because, like, you've even told me how you felt when you've come into my house for our group that meets called the table. But
It's lovely. And I want to just highlight, like, the lights are perfect. Like, they're the perfect, like, bright enough but dim enough. It's so soothing. There's not any artificial plant. Like, there's so much greenery. I'm serious, greenery. I mean, it's so, absolutely. She has essential oils and different diffusers going. And so, like, it feels like a spa. And it's just 7 p.m. evening, regular Monday, regular Tuesday. And so, but it just is so, and then of course, um, Olivia's excellent at beautifying things. And so when it comes to foods, like choice foods, and they're gorgeous. You kind of don't want to touch them because you might mess them up. And so it really is just, she makes the guests feel like honor, because it's this place of just, such beauty in the atmosphere in all senses, in all ways.
oh, thank you. Well, I'm a 4 on the Enneagram. So I am all about aesthetics. So that's probably a large part of it. But then also, truthfully, Kristen, I dealt with, I'm 44. When I was about 28, 27, I really severely dealt with anxiety and depression. in a big, big way. So I've just learned things that, like, the news is not ever on in my house. It's just not. I can't do it. I know my limits. I know what I can handle. I know what I can't handle. And, if I'm at somebody else's house and they're watching the news, that's fine. That's their home. This is what they get to do. But for me, I'll probably, try to step away and not pay so much attention or whatever. But, there's just certain things that I've noticed that help me, and like having the lights down and having soft music playing. I mean, just your energy matters, and the energy of your home matters, and it's only there. It's all intentional.
Mhm.
And so it's going to be intentionally done one way or the other. So I just love to take the time to, it's just really helped me to keep a peaceful atmosphere in my home, just doing certain things. So
And
I
I've
love
never,
that. And
yeah,
I want to pass it on to other people. I've always had a good response of it. I've never really had a negative response and maybe people just haven't told me, but
well, I know that the atmosphere that you do set absolutely in your home, but you do carry outside of your home. We've done life in other homes and coffee shops and things. I mean, you do bring that in other places for sure. That is so much of you. But I would say that atmosphere that you create, that you set, is it is, of course, and warm and inviting, and it causes other people, what I've noticed, to be really authentic,
mm,
to be really down to earth and let their guard down. Like, it's such a soothing um, frequency, if you will,
yeah,
that it allows people to just share. And knowing certain people, they will share things that are beyond them. And I do see so much of that is a big part of the spirit, soul, body health, right?
yeah, for sure. And that's what I want people to feel when they come in my home. And I pray over my home all the time. And that's just been something that, I mean, when nobody's here, I will just crank some good praise and worship music and walk through the house and pray
Mhm.
over rooms and people and things like that. But I've just always wanted that. When people walk in my house, I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to feel safe. I want them to feel known. I just want them to feel special and to just feel a difference in here. So I hope that that's what
No,
people
it
feel.
does. I see people feel accepted and unlock things in their life.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have seen that from you. So, yeah, more regarding that. So, what are some, and I you shared on a little bit, but what would you say, like, three choose life choices that you would recommend for others to implement? That these three things will help them, no matter where they're at. Um, no matter where they're at, that these three things, if they're doing these three things, or it's something that they can even focus on in the next 6 weeks, like finishing strong in 2020, um,
Yeah.
that will cause them to create a beautiful shift in their story.
Okay. So, wow. Then if it's three things, then I'll go with one in each category. One in the body, one in the mind, and one in the spirit.
Amen.
So, in the body, I would just say, pause before you eat something. Just pause and realize, okay, what is the purpose of this? First of all, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Like if you're sitting there eating a meal feeling guilty the entire time, that's going to affect you. It's
Yes,
going to be Thanksgiving. Be thankful.
so good.
Be thankful and eat that dressing and have a good time.
Yes,
Um, and just
beautiful.
enjoy and take the time, take the moments to enjoy what's around you, the people that are around you, and the moments that you're getting to have. But as far as just outside of Thanksgiving, our Thanksgiving Day, just deciding what just make the life choices. I always try to for me, I'm like, what is this going to do for me? Is this going to make me feel good? Is it going to make me feel, is it full of life, or is it going to make my body feel tired and exhausted, and et cetera, et cetera? So that's one of the things that I try to do, because I know, and listen to your body when you're eating things, when you're choosing to eat certain things and you just don't feel good afterwards. Today I had a some toast with almond butter, and I put some honey on it and some nutmeg and bananas. I didn't feel good afterwards. That's a great thing. I mean, it's probably wouldn't affect most people in any negative way, but I had Ezekiel bread, and I know that for me, I just don't do well with Ezekiel bread, and I shouldn't have had it in the first place, and I should have known better. But I was like, oh, it's healthy,
Yeah.
but I have to know my body. So
Yeah.
that's for the body. For the
You're,
mind, I would say,
and I'm going to interrupt you for just a
okay.
moment and just comment on that, because I think that is brilliant. And I want to say the first thing you said, as far as enjoy it, absolutely. There are times that I have like shut my body's voice off, because in order, like I would feel so much condemnation about maybe what I was eating. I would just eat it anyway because enjoying how it tastes,
Mm-hmm.
but all of me couldn't enjoy it. It was such a verbiage and such a, I don't know, like this emotional. I would just shut it off for just a moment, just to eat it, and then but then for hours later, it's just coming in like a wave, coming in like a flood, and you're right. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. If I couldn't enjoy it and be able to receive it fully in that moment, as good as it may taste, right, for Thanksgiving or the whatever it is, the first or the second, whatever it is, that it doesn't shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love what you said about that. I can absolutely relate.
Yeah. Yeah. It helps me a lot.
And then, and just again, just the voice, having a voice. For you listened to your body before. Ezekiel bread doesn't make you feel good. And so, but you chose not to listen to it in the moment, sure enough. And so,
It's Bible verse bread. It has to be good for me, right?
that's awesome.
But
So,
it's not for me.
but now you listen to your body, and you're like, you're letting your body have a voice. You're listening to. You're not muffling your body. You're letting your body have a voice.
Yes.
Okay, so your other
sure.
things for the mind, for things for the spirit.
So for the mind, I would say get some affirmations. Write down some affirmations, some things that and where I get a lot of my affirmations, honestly, is from the word. But honestly, there's just some things that I can put a link on mine. I can do a post on mine if you want to, or I can send you the affirmations, however you want to do it. I have a list of affirmations that I give out to people at my workshops. I've given them to my B groups. I don't know if you've been here when we've done the table and I've given out the affirmations, Kristen. I wasn't sure if you
I don't know if I
lived here then or not. I don't think you
yeah.
did. But anyways, I just have a great, good basic list of affirmations. It's just good life things to speak over yourself. Because when you speak things, you hear it. I think it's 80%. It's 80% more effective when you are the one saying it versus you hearing someone else say it.
Yeah.
So it's really, really important what comes out of your mouth. And first thing in the morning, that's one of the things I do. I go outside and I ground. I kick my shoes off. I stand in the grass, which connects my body to the earth. That's a whole nother thing. But wow. I will say my affirmations. I tap right here on my collarbone because that actually clears the pathways that are in your body. Totally scientific. Yeah. You can look it up, but has a lot to do with tapping and EFT, emotional frequency techniques. But I will say my affirmations and I will say them 3 times each. And I'm telling you, the days that I do that, different days.
Yeah.
Different days for sure.
Yeah. And yes, absolutely. The tapping, and I could see that taking off your shoes and you're hitting the ground, like it causes the body to align immediately. Yeah. Those thoughts and those words. Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah, for sure. So then spirit wise, I would say, man, one of the best things that I do is that I just really notice a really great difference is just connecting with the Lord and asking him like knowing your true identity. Like, who do you say that I am? Not who my dad, not who my mom, not my husband, not my kids. Like, who do you say that I am? And a lot of times just going back and knowing, like, if you've received any prophecies or any words or things like that, promises from the Lord about your future, things like that, but just spinning. And it takes time because he created you. So he knows you better than anyone knows you. He knows the details of your past, your present, and your future. So just spending that time with him and saying, okay, Lord, who is it? What's the ultimate Olivia? What's the ultimate Kristen? What does she look like? Just walking in her full destiny and her full calling and her full purpose. What does that woman look like? And
Amen.
so every morning when I'm in the bed, I will lay there and I think about that. And I'm like,
Beautiful.
Lord, show her to me. Show her to me.
Beautiful.
Let me connect with her. And then I really will. I will try to
Amen.
fully see myself doing the things that I know he's called me to do. I will lay there and I'll see myself doing it. And I will go through scenarios and I'll go through situations and I will, it's a movie that I play in my mind. And I play that movie every single morning because your mind does not know the difference
Right.
between the reality and what you just imagined. It's the same thing. So it starts behaving and it starts doing things differently because it thinks that's what you already are.
I love that. Is gorgeous. Absolutely. And I love that you are not scripting it for yourself, but you're saying, God, no, you show me. You show me the thing for me. Because he's absolutely more higher and bigger and more abundant than you could, like, even your best version of yourself, his thoughts are greater. So you're like, no, you show me. And the things that come of you, you match it. You get there with your emotions and you just go there in the spirit and in our spirit we are limitless. We are limitless. And so
and what our versions of ourselves are usually so small.
So small.
So small. And he has such bigger things for us. He believes in us and he knows us. He knows what we're capable of. Far beyond what we think we're capable of. So it's just getting in connection with that and just connecting with him in that way every single morning. And not I just don't get up until that's where I am. So then I get up ready to go. Are you there? Did I lose you?
Yeah, it's kind of clicking on my end. I can see it, but I'm
Okay.
back. I'm still frozen for you, but I think that's beautiful. Those are things that I can implement. That those are those things. None of those things that I'm doing. So I'm doing them in different ways, but not like that. It's absolutely so much power in that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for sharing how you have absolutely overcome depression and knowing how to take authority and the choose life choices you've made to live this more abundant life. And yes, your life, your children, and your husband, and your home, and your family, and your friends, and your church, they are so fruitful. But I see you being so impactful and influential in all of these lives that you touch. And so it is a joy to know, oh, you are. And yeah.
Well, and just another thing to encourage people is that, like, because a lot of people are like, oh, what do you do for this? What do you do for that? What do you do for that? And you know what? My journey is not going to look like your journey. And exactly what I do every morning, my morning routine, my evening routine, the way that I eat, what I eat is not going to look the same. It's not going to look the same for everybody because, Kristen, I don't look like you. I've got straight hair, you've got curly hair. I've got blonde hair, you've got brown hair. Like, I mean, it's just, and your body is a different makeup than mine. So that's where it's just, just doing the things that we know to do and just getting started on the journey. God is so faithful and he'll direct us. He really, really will. He will.
I love what you're saying. Yes, Ezekiel's red might sit fine with me.
Yeah.
And so just it's so great to know that if that was a choose life choice for me, it may not have been one for you.
Yeah. And he'll reward your efforts. He really will. Yeah. That's something that I've realized. I was just talking to BC about that, my husband, last night, was that I just feel like I've just gone through such an education process in the past 5 years, like so much, like way more than college would have ever taught me. But honestly, I feel like my professor has been the Holy Spirit. And that sounds so cheesy, but it truly is.
It's so true. And that also is that spirit, soul, body alignment when you're listening to him.
Yeah. I mean, random books that I would come across that, like, those little coincidences of a person that you just happen to talk to and that you just happen to meet. And then they share this with you and how that happened to them. And it's just, God's so faithful and he'll reward your efforts.
That's awesome. 100% agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for this
You're
conversation.
welcome.
Thank you for so much for sharing your story as well as empowering all those who will listen to your words. And it is a joy to have you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and I miss you.
Miss you so
I
much.
hope to see you soon.
And I look forward to going to your wellness workshop and or
Yes.
to California. One of the two. I have probably both, but yes, one of the two.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I need to come there and do one. That's coming to California is never a bad thing for me. I love California.
Yes, and it loves you. You're perfect. So correct. All right. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye bye.